Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something that, well, it affects almost everyone. The ongoing battle for healthy eating. And specifically, you're going to get into that debate around sugar. So if you're trying to figure out why, an apple is just different for your body than a handful of candy, this deep dive is for you.
Right.
Our mission today is to really get into the key differences between refined sugar and fruit sugar so you can make more informed choices.
And that really is the key, isn't it? I mean, everyone knows that too much sugar is a problem. Our sources all agree on that.
Yeah, that's the one thing everyone seems to agree on.
Exactly. But the real insight, the thing that changes everything, is that not all sugars are created equal. It's all about the package they arrive in.
Okay, let's start with the one we're always told to avoid. Let's unpack refined sugar.
Good place to start.
So when we say refined sugar, we're talking about things like white sugar, brown sugar, high fructose corn syrup.
HFCS, yeah.
The stuff that's hiding in almost all processed foods and drinks. And what our sources say connects them all is the intense processing.
Precisely. That processing strips away everything beneficial. It's not just that the vitamins are gone. The most critical thing they remove is the fiber.
So you're left with just pure concentrated sweetener.
A naked sweetener. That's a great way to put it. And, think of it like this. Eating refined sugar is like trying to drink water from a fire hose.
A fire hose, okay.
It's just this massive, immediate rush of fuel hitting your system. And because there's no fiber to slow it down, that sugar just absorbs almost instantly into the bloodstream.
And your body just has to deal with that flood all at once. What does it actually do when it gets hit by the fire hose?
Well, metabolically speaking, it panics. The glucose part of the sugar causes this huge immediate surge in your blood sugar.
Right.
And that forces your pancreas to pump out a wave of insulin to get that sugar out of the blood. That's the spike we always hear about.
That's the spike.
But here's the part people miss. The other component, fructose, is handled almost entirely by the liver.
Okay.
And when this huge concentrated dose of fructose hits the liver all at once, the liver gets overwhelmed. It just can't use all that energy. So what does it do? It starts converting the extra into fat. That process is called lipogenesis. And that's why, high consumption is tied directly to weight gain, fat in the liver, and then all the long-term risks the sources mention, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes.
So it's the sheer speed and concentration are what create the metabolic chaos.
Exactly, metabolic chaos.
So that's the chaotic refined sugar. Now let's switch gears and look at how that same molecule, fructose, behaves when it's delivered in a whole fruit.
A completely different story.
Yeah, because the word fructose itself makes people nervous, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they hear the liver has to deal with it.
It does, and this is where the conversation gets a bit stuck, People think fructose goes to my liver, so fructose is bad.
Right. It's an easy conclusion to jump to. So where do the sources draw the line? I mean, what's the real difference between a handful of grapes and a soda?
The line is the fiber. It's all about the fiber. The fiber in a whole fruit, like in the pulp and the skin, it acts like a dense sponge.
A sponge?
Yeah, it physically slows everything down. So instead of that fructose hitting your liver all at once like a fire hose,
it's more of a drip feed.
It's a manageable drip feed. And that controlled release prevents two major problems. First, you avoid that massive blood sugar spike.
So less demand on your insulin.
Way less demand. And second, and this is crucial for the fructose part, the liver doesn't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It can actually use the sugar for immediate energy instead of just shunting it all into fat storage.
So that's it. The presence of fiber is the single biggest difference.
It's the game changer. The molecule is less important than its delivery system.
The whole fruit is designed to manage itself. And It sounds like you're getting more than just moderated sweetness.
Oh, absolutely. The sources are clear on this. Fruits are nutrient packages. They're not just sugar. You get antioxidants, bioflavonoids, things that actively fight inflammation and oxidative stress.
Which is basically the aging process.
Pretty much. So you're getting slow-release energy and cellular protection.
Okay, this brings us to a really interesting point. We know whole fruit is good. But what about fruit juice and dried fruit?
Ah, yes. The most common trap. The sources warn about this a lot.
Why is that?
When you juice a piece of fruit, even if it's fresh squeezed, you're removing the sponge, you take out the fiber.
So you're left with the fire hose again.
You are. You've basically just created a sugar delivery system that's much closer to a soda than to an actual piece of fruit.
And what about dried fruit? It still has the fiber, right?
It does, but it's so concentrated. The serving size is the issue. You could eat, what, a dozen raisins in a minute?
Easily.
But eating the equivalent number of whole grapes would take way longer, and the water and fiber would fill you up. So the metabolic hit from dried fruit is just much sharper.
So the big message here is that our bodies can handle sugar, but it has to arrive in its natural, buffered state.
That's the core takeaway. The naked, refined sugars cause imbalance. The sugar from whole fruits, in moderation, is actually associated with better metabolic health.
Right. So let's turn this into action. What does this deep dive mean for you when you're in the grocery store? Let's get to the takeaways.
Let's do it.
Tip 1 seems obvious, but it's hard. Limit refined sugar. This isn't about, never having a cookie again. It's about minimizing those super processed foods.
Sodas, sugary cereals, packaged baked goods.
Exactly. Choosing whole, unprocessed foods just eliminates that fire hose problem from the start.
And this is where that knowledge of speed helps. When you read an ingredient label, if sugar is one of the first 3 ingredients, you know you're getting a product that will cause that spike.
Good rule of thumb. Okay, tip 2, and this might be the most important point we've made. Embrace whole fruits.
Yeah.
But the key word there is whole. We have to prioritize the whole fruit to get that protective fiber. Juices and too much dried fruit can undermine that.
And that leads to the final piece of advice, which is mindful eating.
How so?
Well, even if you're choosing something healthy, the context matters. Are you actually hungry? Are you paying attention to your body's fullness signals?
Right.
That kind of awareness is key, especially with sweet things. Paying attention to those cues helps prevent that metabolic overload no matter where the sugar is coming from.
So to wrap this up, it seems clear. Both types of sugar provide sweetness, but their health impact is, it's worlds apart based on that delivery system.
It really is. Refined sugar is a rapid, overwhelming flood that, in excess, drives serious health risks.
Whereas fruit sugar, in whole fruit, is skillfully moderated by fiber and comes with all these extra nutrients.
Making it a much more sustainable energy source, it's about shifting from that chaotic fire hose to a steady, manageable drip.
So the final thought for you to take away is this. The next time you reach for something sweet, just think about the delivery system.
Is it stripped down and rushed, or is it nature's bounty, complete with its own brake pedal?
Maybe consider reaching for that humble fruit for a delicious and truly nutritious alternative. Thanks for diving deep with us.
We'll see you next time.